Animal Crossing is finally here, and boy is it so fun. There's just something so relaxing and carefree about arranging my house, arranging my island, zoning and rezoning and planning, getting creative with my decorating, catching bugs and fish, and seeing what cool stuff my friends are up to. I'm willing to overlook the issues I have with the clunky multiplayer because the game is just so good. Now, there are a lot of decisions in Animal Crossing, from where to plant your fruit trees to figuring out where to put that public park you had planned. Decisions like, where should I put my neighbor's house and what should my town's flag be? Some of these decisions are going to be really hard to make if you're trying to put together your vision for your perfect village. Deciding where to put a streetlight can feel like a decision between life and death. Yet, perhaps one of the hardest decisions you'll have to make in New Horizons is which of your animal neighbors to eat during quarantine. As the global event we're currently experiencing progresses, Nintendo has teased a new quarantine event where your villager may be locked indoors for a very prolonged period of time. And with not much in the way of food growing inside your house, it's possible that you may not have enough food to sustain your life. The truth is, some very difficult decisions are going to have to be made to make sure you stay fed and healthy. That's why I'm going to be doing a deep dive into health and nutrition for survival to give you the information you need to make the most informed decision you can as to which of your villagers are going to have to go. So let's just address the elephant in the room right now. Unfortunately, there's just no arguing this, but in order to survive, you're going to need to find a satiable source of protein. Listen, do not think too hard about your morals. This is a survival situation. We can talk about who the real animals are later when you survive. Before we begin selecting our best candidates to eat, we really should mention the positive health effects of the fruit we can find growing freely and readily on our island. As a supplementary food, fruits will do a great job giving us lots of vitamins like vitamin A and C, antioxidants, fiber, potassium, folic acid, and magnesium. So feel free to pick as many fruits as you can and make sure you freeze dry them for long-term storage. While we can make our villager last for a long time with satiable proteins, without a good source of vitamins, we do run the risk of scurvy. Do not sun dry them, as the vitamins in these fruits are very susceptible to heat, and you could damage them and make the fruits useless. Vitamin C, which is our primary defense against scurvy, is especially vulnerable to heat. Okay, now let's find a source of protein. Protein is one of the most important nutrients we can find for ourselves in this situation because we need it for our muscle mass. We also need it for our growth and for our cells to function regularly through the amino acids that can be found in protein, as well as for some of our B vitamins. Protein is also incredibly satiating. In fact, beef scores 176 on the satiety index, which is the second highest of the protein-rich foods right after fish. So I've devised a list compiling all of the different types of animal villagers we can find on our island to see which of these animals would make the best candidates for us to eat. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a fish species of villager, which is too bad, but if we take a look through the list, we can see that there are some other animals that are going to do just nicely. Now, what we're looking for here are animals that are as large as possible to provide us with as much meat as possible. We don't want animals that are too lean either, because fat is a very valuable nutrient for us here. Fat is the slowest form of energy, but it is also the most energy efficient, giving us about 9 calories per gram, which is about twice the amount of carbs and proteins. With that said, I've picked out bears, bulls, cows, elephants, gorillas, hippos, horses, rhinos, and kangaroos as good candidates to eat. If you don't have any of these villagers, then wolves and tigers would be okay, but these are really the kinds of animals we're looking for. Any animal from these species will do us good, but I want to keep narrowing down to get us the best candidate possible. There are also a few specialty villagers I want to touch on and assess the value they give us on the dinner table. Now, at first glance, meringue might seem like the perfect animal for us to eat. She's a rhino, meaning she's huge, and she's also made out of strawberry cake. But if we think about this a bit harder, we'll see that this is probably a bad idea. For one, she is pretty much entirely made out of carbs. Those are going to burn really fast and leave us feeling very hungry when we're done. Not only that, but all the sugar in her frosting is going to give us a massive spike in our blood sugar level, which will make us extremely tired and may possibly even kill us. This is also going to put us at risk of diabetes. Additionally, the cake batter she's made up of is probably light and fluffy, so what I'm saying here is she takes up more space than she's actually worth. I also want to mention that Patty the cow and Frida the sheep are very good candidates for obvious reasons, and also that you cannot eat Ribbot, as he is made out of metal and that will not digest. Now with our list of animals, I also want to narrow down our candidates even further by referencing their personalities. For those of you that don't know, Animal Crossing has a personality system where each villager will have one of the following types of personalities: cranky, jock, lazy, and smug for the males, and snooty, peppy, normal, and sisterly for the females. These personalities change how villagers interact with you and each other and what kind of friends they are, but they also give us valuable insight into which of these animals would make the best villagers to eat. And that's because how eatable you are changes based on the type of lifestyle you lead, and the type of lifestyle you lead is in large part determined by the kind of personality that you have. We can actually choose a better villager to eat if we focus in on the jock and lazy personalities specifically, because just from a logical point of view, a jock personality is much more likely to have a higher amount of muscles, and therefore a higher amount of protein. We know this because sometimes we see jocks lifting weights, or sometimes they'll approach you with offers to play sports. And the lazy villagers are more likely to have a higher fat content, which can be very sustaining through the caloric value of their extra fat. With that said, if we narrow down our animal list even further to purely the largest animal, I believe the best villagers to eat are Dizzy, Tucker, Big Top, Paolo, and perhaps the very best villager to eat, Axel. Axel is a jock personality elephant, so he definitely has a lot of protein that we can hold on to that's going to keep us sustained. Now the typical African bush elephant weighs around 12,000 pounds, but since Axel is a jock type, we'll say he could have an extra 3,000 pounds of muscle kicking around. After butchering and removing all the parts we can't eat, we'll only get to keep about 60% of that weight, meaning we'll have to take about 9,000 pounds of Axel. If each serving is 1/4 of a pound, then Axel is going to give us a total of 36,000 servings. And if we eat 3 servings a day, then Axel is going to feed us for 12,000 days, or just under 33 years flat, assuming we have enough space in the freezer. That's a lot of time we can safely spend indoors thanks to Axel. Thanks, Axel. Listen, I know we all feel bad thinking about eating the villagers we have been making friends with since our time arriving on our islands, but we need to think about our survival. And if there were some other form of protein available on the island, if there were some kind of fish readily available in the ocean that engulfs us or the rivers of our islands that was unregulated, free to catch, with no permit required, accessible at all times of day and night, then maybe this would go differently. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Hi, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry it took me a while to upload this. I've just been sick, and that was pretty draining, and I didn't have much energy to work. But I'm back. I'm vibing. This next segment is going to be really laid back, very chilled out. If you want to dip now, no hard feelings. Thanks for watching anyways, and I'll see you again soon. But I was curious what some of your least favorite villagers were, in case you needed some ideas about which villagers to eat. We got a vote here for Truffles. To be honest, I can't do more of a hard agree. Just everything about her is repulsive to me, and the worst part is that she's on my island right now. This pig had the audacity to give me a lawnmower and say, "It's so nice to have someone do my work for me." Like, get off my island. I will bulldoze your house down. Got a vote here for Jambette, and again, just... God, listen, if you get Jambette on your island, you need to throw your switch into a fire, and you need to scatter the ashes from the 7 tallest mountains in the world. Jambette arriving on your island is a sign that something is going horribly wrong in your life, and I'm sorry. There is no escape now. If you see Jambette, cancel your flights, okay? Stay in your room, lock your door, lock your closet, because she might be in there and she's coming for you. A vote here for Samson. And for those of you that don't know what ratatouille is, it's basically a really horrible Ratatouille knockoff about this chef rat called Marcel Toing that has a restaurant called Ratatouille. And to be completely honest, I'm gonna have to hard disagree with you here, because personally, I need me a Chef Marcel Toing to spice up the food on my island. Samson is always welcome. Berold looks like a character from Lisa. The worst part is I know that so many people hate him, but I don't know, he's kind of charming in a way. Like, he's just so hideous that he's kind of adorable, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not having him anywhere near my island, but I think there's a bit of charm to him. I think he might be slept on. Gotta vote for Frida, and I mentioned her earlier. She's so unsettling. I kind of expect her house to just be a McDonald's box. Like, you know, the boxes that their sandwiches come in? Like, just that. Just a sheep-sized box. Just a sheep-sized box for her to live in. Anyways, I'm having a lot of fun with Animal Crossing. I'm really enjoying it. I really like that it forces me to take my time, because it's teaching me a lot about patience, and I appreciate that, because recently with my games, I've just not been patient at all. Anyways, stay healthy, stay safe during these really weird times we're in. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.